Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. This is A Shot of Whiskey, and welcome to part 2 of this 4-part series, a trip down memory lane with the absurd questions Christy Winters and her buddies wanted to share with a lot of us. This one covers the fun topic known as feminism. So let's get right into it, shall we?
In videos and in the comment sections, anti-feminists often take up the most extreme or the weakest feminist position they can find, or they just straight up misrepresent what the feminist position is. Instead, why not take up the strongest, most robust feminist argument you can find and really challenge yourself?
We work with what we're given. If you want us to cover your robust arguments, try having one first. Challenge yourself and come up with something robust. But let's say that you do have such a topic. Perhaps the reason most anti-SJWs don't address them is because they are not something that is constantly shoved down our throats, or is not something that will unquestionably have a negative impact against men and boys.
I am deeply concerned with male addiction rates, suicide rates, and abuse rates, because I have worked with these issues in the quote-unquote real world. Would you be willing as anti-feminists to put aside your differences with feminists for the greater good of addressing these issues, especially as the kind of solutions needed are not necessarily gendered? And if so, I would actually like you to let me know, because I'm not fucking around or presenting any gotchas here. I actually really think that we could get something done if we work together. So yeah.
Good question.
Great question.
That's a great question. And thank you for bringing your own microphone,
Very
sir.
considerate of you.
Forward thinking.
Yeah.
The thing about that is this isn't a typical feminist issue, hence one of the main reasons why anti-feminists and MRAs have been on the rise. I've seen many of my fellow anti-SJWs speaking up on these topics, and a few others, and oftentimes bringing them up in videos where we're discussing various feminist talking points. Normally, the response from feminists is something akin to, "Stop taking the focus away from us women, you misogynist."
What is third wave feminism? Because I've often heard you folks insist that you have no objection to feminism in general. It's specifically third wave feminism that you have a quarrel with. So what is third wave feminism specifically? And what specifically about third wave feminism do you have such a problem with?
Third wave feminism began in the early 90s and focused mostly on self-righteous girl power and man-blaming. This particular wave started off as just being annoying while slapping past generational accomplishments in the face, but has now become flat-out anti-male. It's bigotry, plain and simple. Now there are some that say we're really in a fourth wave, and I've even heard a couple of people say it's a fifth wave. But it sounds to me like the general consensus is that we're still in number 3.
Why is it that this feminist represents all feminists, but this men's rights activist doesn't represent all men's rights activists?
Whoa, wait, sexism all of a sudden? Ladies and men are different? So we're supposed to punch men and not hit ladies and open doors for men, but not ladies? Fuck you, get her in my face, you tiny piece of shit.
You're an idiot.
Nobody has said she represents all feminists. What we have been saying, because it's true, is that she is a caricature of nearly every single modern-day feminist stereotype out there. Fat, ugly, loud, short hair that's dyed an unnatural color, and being myopic. As for the guy that you have dubbed as being a men's rights activist, I'd like some citation on that. I found the original video this wee little clip came from, and I'll provide a link to it in the description down below. Nothing about this says that he's an MRA. He's a butthurt bitch who does bring up a valid point about women wanting more rights than men, partially because they do.
Why am I continually asked to answer for the views of feminists if I agree with feminism's overall aims, but don't agree much with those particular feminists? Does that mean that I can ask you to answer for anybody who labels themselves similarly to you, even if you don't agree much?
To your first question, it's because you're more likely to understand what they're getting at because you sort of think like them. Duh. And your second question, sure. And depending on the question, I could give a semi-plausible answer.
If SJs are bad because they spend too much time whining and don't talk about real problems, then why aren't you talking about those problems instead of just whining about the other people over and over and over for literally years? I mean, in the scale of priorities, that's like even lower, right? You know, you've got the real problems, you've got the things that feminists worry about, and then you've got you going, oh, how dare they? Just, how dare they have different priorities from me? Why can't they do what I do? Whine about whining forever for a living. That's healthy.
First, that's not the only reason why SJWs are bad. They're also bad because they're emotional morons who lack the ability to properly evaluate the real world and have no problem lying about what the other side is actually saying. Second, we constantly do, and simpletons like you either dismiss us or try to shut us down because we dare to challenge the feminist agenda. Third, your list proves that you are unwilling to take these topics seriously.
You're an idiot.
Fourth, feminists do whine for a living. Some of us think that's why the more toxic forms of feminism are so rampant, so that the professional feminists can keep making money.
Why don't you seem as concerned with actual feminist theory in academia as you are with wrecking people for views?
Oh, the poor little baby no likey the wrecking videos. Grow up, Buttercup, and get your head out of your ass. Like I told the One Direction fanboy, we do that a lot, but y'all either ignore it or attack it.
Since so many of you profess to be admirers of second-wave feminism as opposed to third-wave feminism, I thought it would be interesting to ask which second-wave feminists in particular do you appreciate? Which books written by second-wave feminists have you read and found interesting? Which second-wave feminist activists have you specifically admired as you formed the opinion that you like second-wave feminism but you have no use for third-wave feminism? I'm just curious.
You are not curious, Steve. You are smug. You believe that you're some intellectual superior who thinks he's got us on some gotcha question when all that you've done is made yourself look more like a tool. For the ones that claim to admire or respect the second wave, it's not because of feminist theorists or what they've written, but of what was accomplished by the actual movement, such as equal pay for equal work. Personally, I oppose feminism as a whole, even the first wave. I don't think women should have ever been given the right to vote. Not because they're women, but because men don't have that right. We never have. There's a lot I'd do with this topic, so maybe that can be a future video someday. Second wave gets some respect because some of their goals were reasonable and logical. No such thing exists within third wave.
You do understand that reading the title of a book or an article or watching the first 15 seconds of a video is not going to give you a deep, nuanced understanding of what that book or article or video is about, right? That being said, how can you expect to understand or critique feminist sources if you don't even attempt to understand what they're trying to say?
It sounds to me like you're projecting your faults onto us.
Why is...
Ah, shit, it's the world's ugliest weasel again.
Why is trying and failing to debunk a study into sexual assault the #1 priority for a rational thinker now? Does it maybe say something about your priorities? Does it? Nah, it's fine, it's the feminazis, we have to stop them. They're taking away our video games. Look, Anita, I'm sorry, but I can't... We can't actually destroy video games. That doesn't make any sense.
Which study in particular are you referring to? Are you talking about the one that says 1 out of 4 women in college will be sexually assaulted, which has been destroyed by those of us who can rationally think and by those that conducted the survey themselves? Or are you talking about the report that said only 2 to 10% of rape cases find the man going to jail, while your side conveniently ignores the issues brought up within the remaining 90+% that you want to say means men get away with rape all the time, even though that number includes cases where women lie or ID the wrong dude? Or is it another one that might be based on truth? And yes, destroying video games makes no sense. I'm starting to regret doing this all over again. Oh well, I've made a commitment, so I'm gonna stick to it. Next time we'll be covering the third category, which is discrimination. I think I'm gonna need to crack open a new bottle for this one.